If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. With Indeed, everything hiring is all in one place, and it makes it so easy. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences each day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. The more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join the more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Indeed.com/podcast. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Welcome to Sugar-Coated Murder Podcast, a brilliant true crime podcast hosted by two zany sisters, all while baking up delicious treats in their kitchen. Here are your podcast hosts, Karen Devaney and Ann Varner.
Thank you, Jared. Take it away, Ann.
I always forget about that because, we don't hear it. And then...
I know.
Yeah.
So then it's added, and then it's like, oh, there's Jared. He's our friend.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah. So, welcome to Sugar-Coated Murder, and welcome to your kitchen.
Yes, welcome to my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes, it's my turn to cook this week.
And what are you cooking?
Well, I'm going to tell you something, y'all. It's hot up in here.
It is hot up in this
It is
whole
July
area.
in Charleston, South Carolina, and it is hot.
Oh.
And it rains in the afternoons, and then it is just so humid. It doesn't cool anything.
No, it just makes the steam rise.
It's miserable.
Miserable.
So
Yeah.
I'm doing a no-bake situation this
so
week.
smart to do that.
It's just a little tiny bit of bake, but not enough to heat your kitchen up to, hellfire.
Hellfire.
So I am making a no-bake Oreo cream pie.
Girl, stop it. Stop it right now.
Mercy.
You've got to be lying.
Lord have mercy.
Don't lie to me. Don't do it.
I'm not.
That's going to be nice and cool
yeah.
creamy and yummy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
So I had to get a little bit of a head start on it because it's got to sit in the refrigerator for a while.
In the Frigidaire?
So it'll set up.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is through the magic of editing and not being on live TV,
It's true.
we can take a little pause and then have a little taste, and it's seamless, and it seems like we're just magically tasting it.
It's magical.
Yes, so.
But I will tell you.
Tell me.
I went ahead and did my crust because I had to chop up my Oreos.
Yeah, that can be loud.
And I did it in the blender.
Oh,
to get a good chop. So that was loud.
Okay.
I went ahead and did that. You take 24 Oreos, and if you get a regular package, not the family pack, but a regular package, each row of Oreos is 12.
Mm.
So that's 2 rows of 3 rows that you get in a package, okay?
Perfect.
Right. So you mush those up in your food processor if you have one because you're fancy, or a blender like me because duh. You get them into a nice crumble. And you can do double stuff. You can do double stuff if you want it.
Ooh.
If you want. You can. Then you're going to add in 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted.
Wow. 5 tablespoons.
Get a nice little crumble going, and you're going to pat that down into your pie plate.
Okay.
Or, if you want, you can just buy the already prepared Oreo crust at the store.
Yes, you can.
If
you really want to make it a no-bake,
yeah,
that would be a
I
definite
did mine
option.
the other way. Because I didn't think it was a good idea for me to have a bunch of Oreos laying around here. And the filling part only calls for 12. That would have meant I would have had 2 rows of Oreos to eat on my own if I hadn't made them.
Right, because this ends up using the whole pack.
The whole pack, yeah. That's nice. That's nice.
It's good. That's a good thing.
And listen to this filling. The filling is heavy whipping cream, cream cheese, confectioner's sugar, vanilla, Oreos.
Lord have
That
mercy.
is like...
It's all good
Give it to
things.
me in a bowl.
It's all good
I
things.
don't even need to put it in a pie.
No.
I just eat it for breakfast.
I
right
feel
out
like
of the
that's
bowl.
a good hearty breakfast.
I mean to tell you.
I mean, just put it in the Frigidaire and eat that.
Yes. So I'm going to whip up this topping real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to get it stuck in the fridge.
All
so
right.
we can eat it.
Well, I definitely want to eat it.
At some point.
So I'm going to talk about murder while you do that.
I was wondering if maybe you could.
Yeah, I actually came prepared to talk about murder.
Oh my God.
I know.
I love it.
Great.
All right. Let it roll, Sal.
Okay. How? So I'm going to talk about, I don't want to massacre her name, but I'm gonna.
We always do. I think people are used to it by now.
If I came up with like just a regular name and just pronounced it first off, they'd think I was lying.
And you could probably even tell me how to pronounce it. I'm still going to get it wrong.
Yeah. So her name was Noemi Ramon.
Okay.
I want to call her Naomi constantly because it's almost spelled like that, but it's not.
It's not.
Luckily, her friends called her Amy.
They knew.
Bless them.
Yeah.
Bless
them
all.
They knew. They were like, all right, we're going to
so
call you Amy.
I'm going to be her friend, and I'm going to call her Amy.
I think that's really nice because there are a lot of times we come up with nicknames for people that don't have anything to do with their name.
No.
Nothing.
You're right.
So I think it's real nice that you decided to call her Amy too.
Well, her friends set that up. If it were me, I'd have probably called her Nene or No or Mimi or some dumb name. But they came up with Amy, so we're going to stick with Amy.
Okay.
And Amy, back in May of 1990, she lived in the Boston area of Massachusetts.
Boston.
Amy was a single mom to almost 2-year-old Sergio. I don't have a problem with that name.
Sergio.
And he was born when Amy was just 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
She was very determined to give him a really good life. His father was not in the picture, and Amy told one of her sisters, Norma, that she would work so hard at being a mother that Sergio would never miss the fact that he didn't have a father in his life.
Nice.
She's very, very dedicated to her son. She was starting a law career as a paralegal.
Oh, nice.
I know. And on May 29th, Amy and Norma, they completed a 20-mile walk for hunger where they had plenty of time to chat, sisterly chats.
Aw.
Yes,
yeah,
not like our walk.
No,
for breast cancer.
Ours was just begging for mercy.
It was just begging for mercy, and it went south the first day.
Are we going uphill? We said the entire way on the first day. Is this all uphill?
How are we going all uphill? At what point do we get to go downhill? And then they'd be like, "Oh, you're very close to the lunch tent," and they lied.
They lied. There were so many people that lied.
They just lied and lied.
I think it's just a mile away, right?
Yeah, right. You don't know, and you've been instructed not to tell us the truth.
And we're too tired to go back and tell you that you lied.
Yeah, and we're too tired to even argue with you when we see you.
Yeah.
So, anywho, I wonder what that word was.
Oh, I love it when you write words down and then you don't know what the heck you wrote.
I wonder what the hell that word is. Okay. So Norma was deeply proud of Amy and her passion for fighting for the underdog, especially victims of domestic violence. Amy was one of 6 girls and 2 boys growing up. She was the next to the youngest. So growing up, the 8 siblings shared a 2-bedroom apartment with her parents.
Holy smokes.
They were immigrants from Puerto Rico.
Gotcha. That's tight quarters.
Yeah, and they settled into this area of Boston where there were a lot of Puerto Rican immigrants in that area. Yeah. Amy used to say they didn't have much, but what they had was plenty of love for each other.
Nice.
They had a tight, unbreakable family bond.
I love that.
On Thursday, May 31st, 1990, Amy called her family asking if someone could come pick she and Sergio up so they could come for a visit. She had moved out and was on her own in some public housing nearby, but not close enough to walk. But she was still very connected to her family, and she needed to go by the daycare to extend Sergio's daycare schedule, and then she wanted to go over and see her family and called them and said, "Hey, y'all, come get me."
Come get me.
But due to busy schedules, no one was available to give her a ride.
Oh.
And that's where the tragedy unfolds.
Oh, no.
I know. Here comes the bad part. So later that day, firefighters were called to Amy's apartment. As they entered, they noticed heavy black smoke pouring out of her closed oven, and in the chaos, they could hear a baby crying.
Oh, Lord.
So as they entered Amy's bedroom, there stood sweet baby Sergio crying next to Amy, who appeared to be unconscious. So they scoop up Sergio, take him out to safety, and they start checking him out. They check him all over, and they notice that he's got blood on him.
Oh.
They check him for wounds, and they figure out that blood is not his. It's his mother's blood.
Right.
And it was blood spattered.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So when they go to pull Amy out, it becomes clear that she is deceased.
Right.
She had a gash on her head, and her throat had been cut.
Lord have mercy.
Inside the oven, which was on a very high setting, were aerosol cans and rags.
Oh, somebody was looking
So
to
somebody
explode
was
it.
trying to blow up Amy's apartment
Dang.
to hide evidence, and they were trying to blow up
Sergio!
her dead body and her 2-year-old son.
Oh, my Lord!
They figure out that little baby Sergio has obviously witnessed the brutal killing of his mother. So during the investigation, the police interview Amy's inner circle, of course, starting with her current boyfriend. He told investigators that he was on the phone with Amy when the call abruptly clicked off.
Oh, no.
So he tried to call back a couple of times, and she would pick up and it would click off, pick up and click off. And then finally, she just stopped picking up. So he figured that either Sergio was playing with the phone or that she was busy with Sergio and eventually she'd be in touch with him.
Right.
The police at that point had very few leads, and those leads went nowhere. The medical examiner said that Amy had died from blunt force trauma and a stab to her throat, and she had been really beaten. They were able to get scrapings under her fingernails, but because this is 1990, there's not enough evidence to progress the case forward. There was no other physical evidence except the murder weapon that they found at the scene. It was one of her kitchen knives. She had been stabbed so hard that it had bent the knife blade in half.
My gosh.
They do figure out that her purse is missing.
Her purse?
Her purse.
Oh, that, and they steal her damn purse?
I know. And they could tell that Amy had fought hard against her attacker. Just imagine being attacked in front of your son. And you die not knowing what was going to become of them.
Right.
Next. Like, is the killer going to kill my kid too?
Right.
And the kid is terrifying and crying for me, and I'm fighting for my life, and I can't help the kid.
Right.
And then that's how you die. Like, that's just horrible.
It's your last thought.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
So, of course, her family is devastated at the loss of Amy, and they were just guilt-ridden by the fact that they were too busy to pick her up that day. They just couldn't get over it. Her mother just cried and cried and cried and kept saying, we should have picked her up. We should have gone and gotten her.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. They had no idea. Also, police found out that the day before Amy's murder, an order of protection against Sergio's father had expired. Now, remember, his father is not in the picture. She has a boyfriend, but the boyfriend is not the father of Sergio.
Oh, no.
So this dude's name is Arnold Lopez, and they go pick him up and interview him. Lopez said he had recently called Amy to ask if he could see Sergio, but she had denied him because there was an order of protection. Some people just don't understand.
Right.
They just don't get it.
They
but,
don't get it.
you know, whatever. So the autopsy reveals that she had been mercilessly beating and had even been stomped on.
Oh my gosh.
So it seemed to be a very personal attack, not just like grab a purse and run kind of attack.
Right.
Because normally people don't take the time to do all that if they're just there to rob you and get out.
Very true.
It was clear that she had suffered. Lopez, he had an alibi. He had been traveling with his family to Florida at the time of the murder, and police were able to verify that and ruled him out since there was no other evidence of him being at the scene.
Right.
But the family didn't believe that he was innocent. They were very focused on the fact that he was somehow involved. So in the meantime, Amy's family...
They just had a feeling.
They had a feeling. Well, yeah, because she had that order of protection. And he had recently contacted her, and she had denied him visitation. And then, you know, it expired. The order of protection expired the day before her murder.
Right.
So for them, it was like, this is pretty obvious. So in the meantime, Amy's family is trying to help Sergio through his trauma. And he would tell them all the time, bad guy did boo-boo to mommy.
Oh.
And he would also tell them, mommy is on the floor with the big boo-boo.
Oh.
He would cry for his mom and constantly talk about mom and what happened, but they couldn't get out of him anything else, like no details. Because, of course, he's like 18 months to 2 years old. So a big break hits. A known drug user from Amy's neighborhood tries to actually cash a check with Amy's name on it.
Oh.
So police go and get him and arrest him. They find Amy's purse and checkbook and wallet in his apartment. So this dude, I'm just going to call him the druggy bozo dude.
Okay, druggy bozo.
Uh-huh. This druggy bozo dude says he found all of that in a trash can. So police perform a deep dive into the bozo druggy dude and can't find anything to link him to Amy or the crime scene. So they actually have to let him go and move on. Due to crime overload at the time in the 90s, lots of crime in the Boston area. Evidently, they were riddled with crime. And the police were overworked and overwhelmed. The case kind of gets put on the back burner. In the meantime, the family decides they're going to do this memoriam tribute to Amy at their church to try to maybe get more awareness out there.
Right.
At the church service, they make impassioned pleas to the public to help them get to the bottom of what happened. Well, that day, a friend of theirs, a police officer, he was like a police officer that worked in the drug unit.
Right.
He was there, and their family attorney that was actually working on getting sole custody of Sergio away from Arnold Lopez was there. And they were very touched by the impassioned pleas of the family.
Right.
And the fact that this wasn't going anywhere. So the two of them teamed up with Amy's sister, Norma, and they kind of developed their own trio detective task force.
Cool.
They decided they're going to try to help the overwhelmed police get traction on Amy's case. So they start doing a private investigation on their own. And they begin with a list of suspects. So they put Lopez at the top, and they start following him around. Like, this cop gets permission from his boss.
Right.
When you're not working cases, you can work this case, because you're friends with the family. We get it.
Right.
He starts following him on off duty, waiting for him to slip up.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, me too. So he's got him under surveillance, and Lopez doesn't seem to even know he's under surveillance. He also searched through all the police files to see what maybe they have missed. And he actually took the police files home.
Right.
And he and the attorney and Norma would sit at Norma's kitchen table.
Right.
And just pour through these police files to figure out where are the holes.
Wow.
So they really...
That's amazing.
I know. They just were so devoted to this. They also made an inventory list of what would have been in Amy's purse.
Oh, that's so smart.
And then on top of that, what should have been in there that wasn't recovered from the druggy bozo dude.
Right.
Here's the thing. They do all of these lists and analysis and all cross-referencing and stuff. The crazy thing is they do it without Excel.
What?
I know, they do it all by hand.
Spreadsheet?
They didn't have a spreadsheet.
Holy
no.
cow.
They did it all by hand.
That's insane.
I was so impressed.
Wow.
So they come up with the fact that Amy's phone card is missing. Now, back then, some people that are listening may not realize this, but we didn't have cell phones. And a lot of people back then that didn't have long distance, that they didn't necessarily pay for long distance through their phone carrier.
Right.
They would have a calling card,
yeah.
a phone card.
Yes.
And then you could make phone calls at a payphone, at a friend's house, whatever.
Yeah, you just had to type in a number.
Yeah, and you charged it to your calling card, and then you paid your calling card bill. So they actually figure out that Amy's phone card is missing.
Oh, Lord.
So the attorney, so this is why it's great to have an attorney and a police officer on this little detective trio, because the attorney then subpoenas Amy's phone records.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
exactly.
Yeah.
Brilliant. She's a family attorney, and she's going to go subpoena some phone records.
Right.
They noticed that somebody had actually used Amy's card after her murder. 100 calls.
What?
Yeah, they were having a dandy of a time.
A dandy of a time.
So now they just have to find the caller, and then they'll find the killer. That's what they're thinking.
So they're saying caller equals killer.
That's what they're saying.
All right.
So they start by logging all of the phone numbers that had been made on that card. Again, without a spreadsheet system. No Excel. How crazy.
That is insane.
And
I didn't even know it was possible.
I know.
Just kidding.
So they start to log all of it, and they cross-reference them to try to figure out, are there the same numbers over and over again? Whose numbers are these? I mean, they're really doing some detective work with pen and ink. That's crazy.
Not easy back then. They didn't have all the technical stuff.
I don't think they even had a whiteboard.
Oh, wow.
Like, they were just doing it all by hand on paper. I'm so impressed. They actually discover 2 of the phone calls made after Amy's death were actually made to her family's home.
Say what?
I will say it again. They were actually made to her family's home. How crazy. Both calls were made on the same day, and one lasted 15 minutes.
Holy
So they talked to somebody in the family. That day in question, the family had actually all been out of the house at a family event except for one person.
Ooh.
One of her sisters, one of Amy's sisters, and her name is, guys, just
say it.
Zorada.
All right.
Zorada, not Florida, but Zorada. And I'm sure it's wrong. Now, the killer knows the family, specifically Zorada, and it's not Arnold Lopez.
No, that's
because that was the ex, and it was not made from him. Like, nobody has heard from him.
Oh, Lordy.
So they actually trace the phone calls to a train station, and then they start talking to Zorada, and she says, I remember talking to somebody that day and hearing a train whistle in the background. Who the heck was that? Oh, that's my boyfriend, Curvin.
Oh, Curvin?
Curvin Richardson had called her from a train station that day, and she could hear the train whistle. And she said, yeah, I talked to him for about 15 minutes. Why are you asking?
Oh, well.
Zorada tells them, oh, well, Curvin and I have been over to Amy's house a couple times for a visit.
Oh, God.
So then they start looking at other calls made on that phone call, and the phone calls were to Curvin's mom, Curvin's sister, and even Curvin's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, jeez.
All the phone numbers that had been made after Amy's death led back to Curvin, Zorada's boyfriend. One of Amy's friends tells the trio detective team that... The trio? Yes. The trio.
The sleuths.
Yes, the trio. They were the 3 musketeers.
Aww.
And that's probably why I kept writing trio, because I was probably eating a candy bar right about now.
Probably.
And I have been eating a lot of 3 musketeers lately. So who did it? One of Amy's friends tells the trio that Amy had told her
happening.
I know, me neither, evidently. Amy had told this friend that Curvin had made advances towards her once, and she rejected him because she knew Zorada was sweet on him.
Oh.
And so they're like, oh, so Curvin has made advances to her and he knows where she lives. Amy had also told Zorada, that's not her name, Zorada, to break up with Curvin because he wasn't trustworthy. But she and Zorada actually had fought about that.
Oh, Lordy.
They had words. So the trio takes this evidence to the police. And the police call Curvin in for questioning. And he seems to not be concerned about Amy's death at all, but he is very concerned about bragging about how he is a Don Juan, and he has many girlfriends.
A Don Juan?
He's a Don Juan, and he has many girlfriends.
Wow.
He actually admits to knowing Amy, and he even said, yeah, I've been to her apartment with my girlfriend twice. Then he admits to actually that the calls on Amy's phone card had been to people in his inner circle, but he never admits to making the calls himself. And he never said, I have the phone card or nothing. He admits to nothing. And he takes a polygraph test and he freaking passes it.
Well, psycho killers can pass tests.
Well, I'm just saying he passed it and the police let him go.
What can you hold him on? Just suspicion? You got to have the evidence.
And they're not finding any evidence.
Dang.
The case goes cold, which I really hate. Life goes on. And in the meantime, this family friend attorney, her name's Angela, by the way, the attorney, she becomes a judge.
Here comes the judge.
That's fucking right. Sorry, Mama.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, here comes the judge. So in 2004, she starts to put pressure on Boston's cold case unit to reopen Amy's case.
Ah.
That's right. They actually go back into the evidence and they find that they had saved, thank God, the fingernail clippings from Amy's autopsy.
Oh.
And underneath those finger clippings is some
phone
tissue.
card?
No, it was not the phone card. But instead of the phone card, they get tissue.
Okay.
So they send it out for testing. And in January of 2005, they get the DNA profile back. Now they just got to find the match to the DNA profile. So remember, we've got 3 main suspects: Arnold Lopez, Druggy Bozo, and Curvin.
Oh, wow. I was thinking I had somebody else in mind, but keep on going.
So they go and find all 3 of these people and get DNA from them.
Right.
And it's not Arnold Lopez, and
Right.
it is not the Druggy Bozo.
Right.
But I'll be gosh darn ding dang darn ding bingo.
Wow.
It's Curvin Richardson.
Curvin?
Where's Curvin now?
Where is
it? Where is he? Well, he hadn't gone far. He was still in Boston.
Oh.
And he actually was a well-respected pillar of his community.
Of course.
He was a teacher and a counselor of disabled children, a married father of 3, living his best life. Just living it out there, just living it. He had actually just recently received an Excellence in Teaching Award from the mayor's office.
Wow.
Yeah, just living his best life until the police arrest him and charge him with first-degree murder. You mother effer. We got you and your teaching award. So,
bring your award with you.
yeah, just bring that right down because we're going to put that in the incinerator and get rid of it for you. They go to trial, and the whole time Richardson maintains his innocence the whole time. I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. But listen, DNA does not lie.
No.
DNA don't lie. And
You
guess
know
what
who
else?
lies? Killers.
Killers lie. Yeah, they do, and they lie on polygraph tests. And not only that, but science doesn't lie because science doesn't have an agenda.
Science.
Yeah, there's no agenda in science. You don't even spell science with an A. So I'm just saying. Or a G. Or a D.
All right.
Okay. So the jury disagrees with Curvin, and they said, "You's guilty."
You guilty as charged.
And they sentenced him to life without parole.
Nice.
Now Curvin can go teach some prisoners something.
Well, no, that would be nice.
Would not be so
Yes.
nice if he did something like that? Sergio said at the sentencing, "I can finally relax." 19 years after his mom's murder, and he could finally let down his defenses.
Wow.
Sadly, Sergio does not remember his mom, but he remembers the love and the devotion that her family and friends always had for her, especially Judge Angela,
Nice.
who the family considers her their guardian angel.
Of course.
Yes. So that is the story of the murder case of Noemi Ramon,
Wow.
also known as Amy, and Curvin the jackass.
What you want to do?
Yeah, well, what she want to do is not be dead by Sergio. I mean,
No.
not Sergio, by Curvin.
Curvin.
Yeah, and he tried to blow that boy up. Like, he was going to blow up that boy.
Right, and then he went and taught children.
Yeah. Well, that's his guilty conscience.
Of course.
But he's a jackass.
Yep.
I don't care how guilty your conscience is, you idiot.
Idiot.
You freaking idiot, you.
That was a good one.
Thank you very much. I love it when DNA comes to the rescue and finds these a-holes that have gotten away with murder.
Me too.
And then,
Living their best life out there.
They're out there living their life, pillar of the community.
Right.
Yeah, father of 3.
Like, that's going to make
married.
up for taking away a mother's life.
In front of her child.
Right.
And they never could come up with a motive. They think that he came in there probably to make advances towards her.
Probably. And
got mad and then saw her purse and on the way out thought, I'll just grab it, and then pitched the purse, but was like, well, I might need to make a phone call to her sister, so I'll just keep this calling card.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you got your pie in the Frigidaire?
My pie's in the refrigerator, and now I just thought we picked up some fresh produce, as you remember earlier.
I do remember doing that with you.
And I thought I'd just try one of our kitchen hacks that we got on Alexa.
How's it going?
Really amazingly good.
So this is the hack on how to clean corn.
Yes, I hate shucking corn.
Me too.
It's so messy.
Is it your night to shuck the corn?
Ugh.
Growing up, we used to get huge feed bags full of corn that would sit on the back porch, and we took turns. Whose night was it to shuck the damn corn?
And it was good. I mean, it was good corn.
I love eating the corn. Don't get me wrong. I just can't stand to shuck it. Shucks.
Shucks.
So,
and this easy to do hack, I've read it 2 ways. One way, you just stick your corn in the husk, everything in the microwave for 5 minutes. And then the way we talk about it, you cut the end, not where the silk is at the top, at the end. You cut a little bit of that off.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the microwave for 2 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
For me, 3 minutes worked out well.
Okay.
And then...
cutting it at which end worked out well?
You don't cut it at the silk end.
Okay.
You cut it at the bottom.
Okay.
I would consider the silk the top, because when you shuck it, you got to pull it down.
Yeah.
So, you run it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and then you bring it out. It's a little hot, but it cools off really quick. I loosen the bottom a little bit with my fingers, and then you just squeeze, and that corn comes out.
Squeeze from the top, the silk end?
Squeeze from the top, and then it comes out with no silk on it.
That's crazy.
And it just was...
What the hell? How many years have we been shucking corn? All my life. I've been shucking corn all my life.
Freaking ever.
I mean, I'm sure since I came out the womb, it was always my turn to shuck the freaking corn. And I hated it.
It was your turn half the time. Because the other half the time it was my turn.
I think it was a third of the time.
Well, I don't know how often my brother had to shuck the corn.
You know what? Come to think of it, no, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
He always had some excuse, like I'm at football practice, or I just got back from football practice, or I'm on the way to football, or I might have football practice.
Or I'm at my girlfriend's, whatever.
Yeah, so
but he would be home in time to eat the corn.
Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably more than his share.
Probably. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, that was a good story. My pie's going. I've got some corn shucked. We're having some nice corn tonight.
Why don't we take a quick pause, and then we'll come back and mayhaps you...
Oh, I got a story to tell.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! A story to tell.
I
got a story. All right, guys. Please hold. All right. Well, we're back.
We're back. I've attended to the needs of my dog.
And we'll just see how long that lasts.
I think he's going to eat. He's going to eat his dinner now.
Mm-hmm. He's going to eat that crunchy kibble.
That's better than him
I know. I'll take that over crying.
Very high-pitched sound.
Oh.
All right. I'm going to tell you a story. It's crazy. But the murder isn't crazy. It is what the murder is crazy. But then the court cases are crazy.
All right. Well, let's just get to it.
So it's just like a whole big crazy town.
Let's go. Let's get it.
The murder I'm going to tell you about took place in the very, very small town of Buena Vista, Virginia, in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
I know where that is. Been there.
Yes, home of our grandmother, Lucille.
Lucille, home of where Sasquatch would snatch you right out of the window if you slept on the cot.
He would have, but I've since found out that he wouldn't. That was not his style.
Not really, but that particular Sasquatch might have been really into that.
I got confirmation from our Bigfoot aficionado.
That's true.
That's not what he would have done.
No, Connor says he would not have done that.
No. So I'm good. Blue Ridge Mountains, Buena Vista. We used to go there. Oh, God, I loved it. I loved the smell of it. It smelled like clay.
Yeah.
Grandma lived at the top of a hill, just below the side of a mountain.
Oh, it was crazy.
It was crazy. And part of me kind of wonder what it would have been like for us as far as technology with our computers and everything. What the heck would we have done up there? I don't know that we would have been able to get anything.
I'm not sure that we would have gotten a signal. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it would have been a little spotty at best.
So anyway, this murder takes place in 1976. And when I was home visiting my mama last week, my aunt came by and asked me to see what I could find out about it. And I really didn't think I was going to be able to find out much because it's from 1976.
Yeah.
You don't find a lot of information.
You wouldn't think.
But
they did tend to write things down sometimes in 1976.
Well, now, I knew they would write it down. I wasn't saying that, but when you go and look up your court cases, most of the time, something old like that, you would have to order the papers from the court. But lo and behold, all of the court papers right there online.
I love it. Well, give us the skinny.
On the line. Okay, so this is what happened in Buena Vista on July 23rd into July 24th of 1976. Ralph Harrison had worked a 3 to 11 shift on the 23rd of July. That was a Friday. When he got off work, he headed over to his friend Ham Henson's house. Ham. And they were going to hang out. So Ralph and Ham sat on Ham's porch for a while, and then they decided they wanted to play cards. And we do that all the time, right? Let's play some cards.
Yeah.
The game of choice was Tonk. Did you ever heard? I've never heard of Tonk. It's a rummy type matching game for 2 to 4 people.
2 to 4.
Ham's door was open, and after a hand or two, Ralph and Ham heard a truck go by. It was their friend George Saunders. Sorry, there's a U in there. It's not Sanders. I knew I'd get the names wrong.
It's fine. I mean, who am I to judge?
Yeah. So Ralph got up and hollered at George. Out the door, holler.
Holler.
And George turned his truck around and came inside and joined Ralph and Ham in a few hands of Tonk.
Because it was for 2 to 4 players.
2 to 4 players. That's right. 2 to 4. After a while, Randy Camden and Terrence Gray came to the house because they could see that George was there and Ralph was there. They came in, and now, we got a party.
Yeah, but Tonk's for 2 to 4, and now we got 5.
That's right. So we had to switch over to another game.
Okay.
They started playing poker.
Oh, okay.
Now,
there you go.
Tonk was a betting game, too.
Of course. Well, you can do anything. You can bet anything with the game. You can bet on Go Fish.
But I get the feeling these fellas were into the bettings.
Okay.
So they switched over to poker. And now we've got a good old-fashioned hometown Friday night party at Ham's house.
It sounds like it.
Ham is having a party.
Party Ham.
Once Terrence got there, they closed the door because I think that it was kind of maybe getting crowded in Ham's house around his table.
Seems like it would have been a little bit crowded. So they just went
ahead and closed the door and locked
that means we're done taking in guests.
Like, no more people come. You're going to have to ask. We're not going to holler at you riding by. We don't want to know. Right. Around midnight. Because remember, Ralph had gotten off at 11.
Yeah.
So now we're around midnight.
This is the end to the 24th part.
Now we're getting into the 24th. That's right. Mm-hmm. Just after midnight, there's a knock at the door. And it was their pal, William Newcomer. And William goes by Billy.
Billy Newcomer?
Billy. Billy pulled up a chair and joined the poker game. And while they were playing, Ralph leaned over and told Billy that Vernon Staton had been by the house earlier looking for him. A little bit before Billy got to Ham's, a car had pulled up and honked the horn. Randy got up, went outside to see who it was. It was Vernon. So Randy goes outside and says, "What's up, Vernon?" And Vernon said, "Get Ralph." So Randy goes inside and says, "Hey, Ralph, Vernon's here. He wants to talk to you." So Ralph goes out and starts talking to Vernon. All right? You got it? Randy's back at the table.
I got that there's a lot of honking and hollering going on. That's what I got.
Vernon's in his car. Mm-hmm. He's talking to Ralph. Vernon had asked Ralph if he'd seen Billy. Ralph said no. You know why he hadn't seen him? Because he'd worked 3 to 11, so he hadn't seen anybody, right?
Oh, that's true. He sure did. 311.
Vernon said, and I quote, "I saw him with my wife tonight, and I'm going to hurt him.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to take these 2 hands when I find him and hurt him."
Oh, no.
Ralph said, "Vernon, go home. Forget about it. Just go home."
Uh-oh.
But Vernon said, "I'm going to keep looking for Billy.
I'm going to keep looking for Billy."
That's
and Billy
right.
come to the poker, and now Ralph done leaned over and said, "Vernon, looking for you."
Ralph goes back inside to the party. He tells the people what happened.
He told people.
And Terrence, at this point, he's been pounding.
Knocking him down.
Knocking him down, pounding him down.
Knocking him back, pounding him down.
He's lost all his money in the poker game. And he says, "Well, I don't have a gun, but I sure got me a switchblade."
Oh, gee.
So, yeah, but then he started throwing up. So,
well, that'll do it.
He took his switchblade
and
went passed out somewhere. Ham was getting tired at this point, and it's now about 2 o'clock in the morning. He said, I'm I'm gonna leave. I'm tired of playing. I'm gonna go.
I thought this
somewhere
was
else."
Ham's house.
He is, but he didn't want to play cards anymore.
Well, so
He's
go to
tired.
bed and tell people leave your house.
Well, he may have. He may very well have gone to bed, but I don't think he said leave my house.
He said, I'm tired.
Been putting a few back too.
I'm tired.
He probably fell asleep in the recliner. For all we know.
I would have.
Right?
Mm-hmm. With the shoes off and his one big toe through the hole in his sock. I can see it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. White socks.
yeah, of course. But, a little dingy. More like they used to be white, but now they're gray.
They're kind of grayish. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. So now we're back down to a small enough group. It's just Ralph, George, Randy, and Billy. We don't got to play poker no more.
Oh, we can play Tonk again.
We're back to Tonk. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It's about 2 o'clock in the morning.
We're going to have to learn this game.
And the fellas played Tonk for a little bit, and then there was a knock at the door. It was Vernon.
Vernon.
And he's
looking Billy for Billy Newcomer.
He said, tell Billy I want you to come outside and talk to me.
Oh, no, because he's going to hurt him with his hands.
That's right. And Billy said, I ain't coming outside. If you want to talk to me, you come inside. Vernon said, no, you come outside.
Oh, no.
Billy said, no, I'm not coming out.
No. Yes.
I'm coming out. No. So Vernon pushed his way through the door and walked inside Ham's house. And he got in Vernon's face, pointed his finger.
Wait, Vernon got in Vernon's face?
Vernon. Come on now.
Was he talking in the mirror?
He was. The whole thing takes place in front of a mirror. That's the craziest part about this story. Vernon walks in and points his finger at Billy and said, you lied to me. And then he takes a step toward Billy and he swings at him, but he misses.
Oh, no.
But Billy loses his footing and he falls on the floor. Uh-oh. And Vernon runs over and they start to wrestle. There's wrestling.
There's wrestling?
That's right. And somehow Billy got himself thrown into the kitchen window and it broke.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know.
Wonder if Ham slept through all this.
Still sleeping
He's
in the recliner.
He's still sleeping in that recliner.
Now.
It's just a typical Friday night in Buena Vista.
I know.
That's all.
And Vernon manages to hit Billy in the eye, and then while he's down on the floor, he kicks him in the chest.
Ow.
And then he walks out the door.
Vernon does.
Vernon actually, no, this is what happened. Billy gets up.
From the window.
He gets his senses about him, because he's been hit in the eye and kicked in the chest.
Okay.
And he gets up. He starts to walk toward the door, because Vernon's going up. Vernon's still in the room. He starts to walk toward Vernon. I got it. It's all logistical. This is going to make sense in just a second.
All right. I'm going to need a diagram.
There, in all the wrestling, some Coke had gotten Coca-Cola.
Oh, it's like there's cocaine at the store. Not at the store. They're not at the store.
Coca-Cola had gotten spilled on the floor.
Okay.
Now, Billy has come over in his shower shoes. He's in his shower shoes.
Okay.
And he slips on the Coca-Cola.
Because he was fresh out the shower.
Obviously, he had been out with Vernon's wife and needed a shower before he came over. Mm-hmm. He had his shower shoes on and he lost his footing in the Coca-Cola and falls to the floor again.
This is Billy.
Back on the floor. He got up. He's back down.
He's stepped a few and his shower shoes have let him down.
That's right.
Okay.
And now Vernon says, he steps over Billy and he says, you better be out of town by Monday.
Oh, at least he's giving the weekend. That was awful nice.
You need to be out of town by Monday.
Oh, man.
It's like a old Western throwdown, right? I think we're about to...
But with no guns.
Give it a minute.
Oh, shoot.
So Vernon leaves. And the way Ham's house is set up, he got a porch on the front, because remember, that's where Randy and Ham were originally. Yeah. That's where the story started, was on the front porch. Mm-hmm. You go down the steps, and he's got a fenced-in yard. Mm-hmm. And then beyond the fenced-in yard, there's a little bit of yard with some trees. You know how it looks.
Yeah. I can picture it right now.
Right. So Vernon goes, and he isn't running. He just walks out the door. He's heading to his car.
Well, why is he going to run anyway? Because shower shoes is on the floor. He
just can't get off the floor.
He's on the floor and he's rolling around in the Coca-Cola with the shower shoes. No, and Ham with his toe out in the recliner sleeping. No. Why you got to run?
Lord. Billy jumps up from the floor. He must have taken the shower shoes off.
Must have.
And he makes it into the living room, and he reaches into a bag that he had in there and pulls out a holster, and in the holster is a gun.
No.
He takes the gun out of the
Billy,
holster.
no, don't take your gun to town.
Run, Joey.
Run,
Joey.
Vernon, run. Vernon, you should have run.
Oh my gosh. So Billy takes out the gun.
Okay.
And he starts walking out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Vernon at this time is halfway across the street to his car.
Sure.
And he hears Billy coming down the steps.
Oh, God.
So he turns around and walks back kind of toward, like, probably we're going to keep on fighting.
Yeah, because now that you're up out of the Coca-Cola, I'm going to knock you down again.
Right. But then he sees the gun.
Oh, no.
That's right. He sees that dang gun.
And says, I'll give you till Wednesday.
And he's like, all right, Wednesday. And there, I told you there were some trees.
There
and
are
now
trees.
Vernon sees the gun, and he kind of is trying to hide behind the trees, but the trees are real small.
Oh,
so he can't really
dang.
hide, so he's kind of
That's
dodging back and
a
forth.
scraggly old pine tree.
Right. Well, and Billy shot him. And then he continued to shoot him.
No.
And Vernon yells, oh, God, help me, don't shoot me anymore. And when all the shots were fired, Vernon was lying in the middle of the road,
Oh, no.
face up, with a piece of lead coming out of his nose.
Lead out of his nose. He got a lead boogie.
Gasping for air.
Oh, my God. Billy, you went too far.
Billy.
Billy, you went too far.
That's right. Now the police arrive on the scene.
Well, yeah, because listen, Vernon came, but he just had his two bare hands.
That's it. He didn't have
That's
a
the
weapon.
way you settle things like a man.
That's how
with
you
a
do
two bare. I'm sorry that your shower shoes failed you. That is no reason to bring a gun out and shoot people.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You should have. Don't wear shower shoes to a fight.
And don't bring out a gun when it's just wrestling with your hands.
We were wrestling. That's all we were doing.
Gee whiz.
So the police come.
All right.
Police are on the scene now. One of the police officers is also an investigator.
Buena Vista's finest.
That's right. He said he pulled up to the scene. It's now 7:25 in the morning on the 24th of July.
This started at 11 o'clock.
He says he saw a man lying in the street and another man standing by the curb.
Uh-oh.
The officer called for an ambulance. This is 1976. So over his little
Walkie-talkie.
I'm going to need first aid is what he said. I'm going to need first aid. About that time, he parks his patrol vehicle and he gets out of the car. And Billy walks over to him and he hands him his holstered gun. And he said, I shot Vernon. And at some point, the ambulance comes. One of the rescue squad workers gets out of his vehicle and he starts walking over. And the police officer says, there isn't a whole lot you can do for that guy, the one on the ground.
Oh, jeez.
And he pointed him over to Billy. He said, go take a look at Billy. Because Billy had a swelled up face and a little bit of blood on his face. So the other guy goes over, and obviously Billy needs to go to the hospital. And they can't put him in the ambulance because they got to put Vernon in the ambulance. They can't put them in together. Mm-mm. But there's a pickup truck there.
Whose pick-em-up truck is it?
One of the emergency people. You know how it goes.
They're volunteers. They just come to the scene.
They just put their light on their truck and head on in.
They do it. That's
so
what they
they
do.
stuck him in a pickup truck. Rescue squad fella heads to Stonewall Jackson Hospital in Lexington, Virginia, which is, what do you think, 30, 40 minutes away from Buena Vista?
Maybe. Used to seem like a lifetime, but it's probably only 15.
Ever. And the rescue squad on the way to the hospital, the fella who was driving said, Billy, who was laying in the street? And Billy said it was Vernon. And then he said, I hope that son of a bitch is dead. That's a quote. That's a direct quote. That wasn't me, Mama. That was a direct quote from the court papers. Vernon was taken to the same hospital by ambulance, but died shortly thereafter.
Oh, Vernon, rest in peace. R.I.P.
I know. At the hospital, the police officer continues to ask Billy, what happened? Billy described the incident exactly like everyone else said. They were playing cards. Vernon
First
came
it was
in,
tonk, and then it was poker.
and then tonk, and then poker, and then tonk, and then Vernon, and then a scuffled and hit, up, down, Coca-Cola everywhere.
Shower shoes.
Shower
Kitchen
shoes.
window done, bursted.
Got my gun.
And there it is.
Vernon's done.
Got my gun and Vernon's done.
Vernon's done.
Okay.
So once Billy was seen by a doctor and cleared, the officer did arrest him, and they headed from the Stonewall Jackson Hospital back to Buena Vista to process him. The police officer who was driving him said, "I sure wish Vernon wasn't dead." And he said, "Now, Billy, did you mean to kill Vernon?" And Billy said, "That's why I shot him." Vernon had been hit 7 times by Billy's gunshot.
I mean, come on, Billy.
Billy was processed at the Buena Vista police station and released on bond.
What? They released Billy on bond?
Billy is out on bond.
That's dumb.
I know. All of that story, all of that information that I just told you is word for word from the court documents.
Dang.
Word for word. I didn't make any of it up. There was no TV show on it, nothing. Word for word from the court papers.
That's crazy.
I know.
They even talked about the shower shoes and the Coca-Cola?
The shower shoes and the Coca-Cola. These are witness statements.
Witness statements. Well, that's what they talk about.
And all of them. Everybody at that game had the same story. All
except Ham.
I don't think, I didn't see Ham's witness
because he was sleeping. He slept through the whole damn
thing.
thing.
And Terrence.
And whoever the pukey man was.
Terrence.
Terrence? Okay.
He was,
Terrence.
Yeah. Keeping that in mind, Billy Newcomer is charged with second-degree murder.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, second degree, that makes sense. He didn't plan it.
Right. You've got all of these witness accounts, the police officer statement, the rescue squad statement, the doctor's statement, the nurse statement, the medical examiner statement. Everybody's got their statement, right?
Yes.
All part of the court papers. The jury hears all of the testimony. He goes before a trial with a jury of his peers in Buena Vista, population in 1976 to be around 6,400 people.
Okay.
This happens May 16th, 1977. The trial lasted for 3 days. The jury heard all of that evidence. They saw pictures. They saw everything. After 3 days, it goes to the jury. And the jury comes back hung.
Excuse me?
Hung jury.
What were they hung up on?
And a mistrial is ordered.
What did they?
I know. Immediately after the mistrial, the Commonwealth of Virginia files for a change of venue.
That should help.
Right? Citing that they did not believe that a jury of impartial members could be found in Buena Vista.
People must not have liked Vernon too much.
Well, the court denied that motion, and the case went back to trial in Buena Vista November 16th, 1977. This trial lasted 3 days.
Again.
The testimony was heard, the evidence was examined, the 12 jurors were picked, they're given the case, and they come back hung. They hung again.
There is no freaking way. What is going on in there?
Again.
What is happening?
They are hung. It's another mistrial.
Billy?
So again, the Commonwealth's attorney
this cannot be right.
Moves for a change of venue. And this time the court says, all right, we'll listen to we'll take it under advisement. We'll listen to what you have to say.
Okay.
Prepare your case. It wasn't like a trial or anything. It's
no,
just
it's
a
like
hearing,
you just like have to go.
Before the judge.
Yeah.
The judge is the one that gets to make the decision as to whether or not you're going to have it. Now, Buena Vista was just a tiny little town. And everybody knew everybody.
Yes.
And if you didn't know somebody directly, you knew somebody related to them.
Of course.
Of course you did.
That's why I'm saying I don't think people they didn't like Vernon too much. Because they're not respecting his justice.
Well, but you got to have, all the jurors have to agree. Or a majority have to agree.
It's just a majority.
But they were split. Some of them, just like if you and I were in Franklin, Virginia, and we heard a rumor about something, we'd have an opinion about it one way or another.
This is not a rumor. It's evidence. It's the court. It's the court of law. It's not a rumor. What is happening in Buena Vista?
So the of course the newspapers are blowing up all over the place.
Yeah, they probably never sold so many copies.
I mean to tell you. It makes sense that it might be difficult to find 12 impartial jurors, or in this case, 24, right?
Exactly.
We've had 2 trials now.
They're running out of people.
During the selection, of both the first and second trial, each prospective juror was asked in the, what do they call that?
Jury selection.
Jury selection, thank you. They were each asked if he or she knew about the case through the news media or personal observation of other sources. Every single person, even the selected jurors, said yes. Even some of them even admitted to forming opinions on the case based on the newspaper articles. So every juror has said, yep, I've heard about it. Some of them even said, yep, I heard about it, and I got an opinion on it. And they were still selected to be a juror.
Because you can't find anybody in that town that didn't hear about it unless they are deaf or maybe an infant.
So as part of the consideration for the change of venue, the Commonwealth calls the City of Buena Vista's attorney, Mr. Roby, William T. Roby III.
Okay.
He evidently can't decide how Mom and Janie fit into all of this, but they know all the players involved here.
Of course they do. Roby is a very familiar last name.
Right.
So
and they are lifelong residents of Buena Vista. And Mr. Roby is adamant that Buena Vista could, in fact, have a fair trial for Billy Newcomer.
Mr. Roby, you are wrong.
He said
Mr. Roby, you are just wrong. You got a lot of faith in your people, but it's wrong.
He said that by changing the venue, the court was basically saying that the citizens of Buena Vista were not capable of being impartial and fair.
Well, they are not
Which
capable,
is funny, right?
Because you've tried twice now.
Right. 2 mistrials on a second-degree murder trial
Yeah.
where the offender has confessed to killing the victim on more than one occasion.
Yes. And there were several eyewitnesses there that all had the same accounting of what happened.
He said, I killed him.
Not only did he say I killed him, he said, I hope he's dead. Like, come on. But we're not sure.
So about this time, and they actually used this editorial that was in the Buena Vista newspaper as part of the paperwork for the change of venue. So
Okay.
it is entered as, it's part of the...
It's support for the
hearing.
argument. I got it.
Support for argument. My God, you're very smart.
Am I? I had no idea.
You've got all the right words today. I don't. But
Okay.
So a scathing editorial.
You woke
from
up in
the
bizarro world. How did that happen?
From the local newspaper is put into whatever. And it said, the last paragraph of that editorial reads, to move the third trial, if there is to be one, outside of Buena Vista is to tell all of our people that they are unable to give a fair trial on this or any future trial.
They're not doing it.
The author of the editorial even states that the community resents outside attorneys. When the second hung jury was announced, people had been going through corridors of the courthouse making bets and saying, we knew this was going to happen.
Oh my God.
Isn't that the craziest thing?
I don't understand.
Eventually, the judge says, you know what, I think you're right. We might need to change
We need
it.
to hightail it out of here. Maybe
And
go
they
to Roanoke.
They changed the venue to Rockbridge County.
Okay.
So, and we have a great aunt that was
Miss
Rockbridge County. So we are also familiar.
We're very tied
That
up in
area.
this community.
So anyway, he goes to trial in Rockbridge and is convicted. Can you believe
Get
it?
out.
He's convicted of second-degree murder.
I don't even know how they came up with that.
Do you
Could
want
it
to
be
know
the
how long he
evidence?
spent in jail?
Oh God.
7 years. After all that.
What are you saying?
I am telling you right now that Billy went to jail for 7 years.
That was his sentence? They said you are guilty, go to jail for 7 years.
Correct.
I just don't.
Minus time served.
Oh my God.
I'm
No.
doing this murder because Mr. Newcomer has since passed on.
Oh, thank
And
God.
most of the players involved in this have also since
Or they're
Passed
at an
on.
age where they could give a shit.
and don't have access to podcasts.
No.
So,
No. Mm-mm.
and it's not like I'm saying anything bad about Mr. Newcomer because he himself admitted that.
I'm not saying he was a bad character. I'm saying he's guilty of murder.
Yes.
That's all. I'm not talking about his character. I'm talking about his actions.
Yeah.
His actions were he killed Vernon.
So,
He shot an unarmed man.
Correct.
In the street, and then said, I hope he dies.
7 times. He hit him 7 times. He didn't just shoot at him
He
one time.
He gave him a lead boogie.
He got a lead boogie.
Like, that is major.
That's big. That's pretty big.
And he would
7 years. So, yeah. I was delighted to find the information on this case online, and now I know why.
Good God almighty, that was a circus.
Because they actually called in the 3rd trial in Rockbridge County, Mr. Roby had been disqualified, so he couldn't be the attorney in the case anymore because it was in a different county.
Yeah.
But they actually brought him in to testify.
As a witness? Well, who did he testify for? The prosecution or the defendant?
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
It's just hard to say.
I'd be hard pressed to figure out which side he landed on.
Really? He landed on the side of Buena Vista.
Yes, he was for the citizens of the Buena Vista.
Yes, because he
had faith. We could do it again. Let's just keep going until we get the right answer.
Let's just do one more. We'll do it.
We're running out of people.
Right.
My God.
How crazy is that?
That was a crazy circus of a story.
It does make you wonder if you're in a small town like that where everybody knows everybody, can you get a fair trial? Not in 1976, you can't.
It doesn't seem like it. And that was the year of the bicentennial of our country.
No.
Come on,
I dressed up as Betsy Ross.
Yes, you did. And I don't remember what I dressed up as, but it was something.
And rode horseback in a parade.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And I'm not so sure, but wasn't it the bicentennial that they brought the elephant in? Because I rode on the back of an elephant at one of those parades.
Lord, child,
Not
I don't
in
remember.
the parade, but it was like a thing. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember no damn elephant.
I got a picture.
I must have blocked that out. No, I think I was probably riding my horse.
We got bad news. And the bad news is, during production or post-production, at some point before we took the picture, we ate the pie. So the picture that we're going to send you of the pie.
All right, see, this is how it happened. That pie, it was really good, and we had guests over, and there might have been seconds.
Yes.
And we were so eager to get into the pie that we forgot to take the picture before the pie was eaten until there was just one little piece left.
Yeah. And we didn't even at that point bother to put the beautiful little dollops of what.
Oh, we didn't do nothing. We just ate it.
So
we didn't garnish it. So you will see the garnishes in the picture, but they're all around the one single piece of pie. It's like a piece of pie in an island of Oreos.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like a last minute, we got to do this, and oh my God, we probably need to serve them something.
Yeah.
And here, oh, look what I just pulled out of my refrigerator.
I know.
I just so happen to have Oreo pie here.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, y'all want some? Well, I mean, who knew they'd say yes?
And then we didn't.
And then they were like, are there seconds? Yep, there are seconds.
Well, I mean, you'll still be able to see it. And if you want it, we got the recipe from Sally's Bacon Addiction.
Of course we did, because we're addicted to Sally's Addictions.
We tried to give her a rest, but...
Oh, hey, we can't. We just keep going back to her.
We just needed a no-bake something, because it's hot.
I know. But, so, okay. So, speaking of it being hot. Sugar and I, we're going to take a rest. We need a respite. we need a recharge.
We need a minute.
This is an official announcement right here.
We ate the pie and we're going on vacation.
And you might have noticed that because this is so late posting, we skipped a week, so we might have already been on vacation, and then we were like, we might need to tell people we went on vacation. So we're on vacation.
We've been knocking it out of the park straight for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And we got to take just a couple weeks.
Yeah, and we just need a recharge. And really and truly, the summer schedules of ourselves, it just gets a little...
It does.
I go one way with my people a lot. I go...
Right.
With my core.
And I go visiting.
Yeah, and then she goes visiting. So it just gets a little ratty.
So we just need to get the next couple of weeks out.
We just need to recharge.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. But we're going to post some old episodes so that y'all don't have to go scrounging around. Yeah. We'll try to figure out some way to patch it together.
Yeah, send us.
Oh gosh, email us and let us know.
We'll check email.
What episodes y'all would like to have us repost?
Oh yeah, that's right.
If we don't hear from them, I'll pick out 2 favorites. You pick out 2 favorites, and we'll piece them together through the magic of editing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can do that too.
We sure can.
Mm-hmm. And we have social media.
We do.
We have social media. Find us on the Instagram.
Sure that we'll keep the social media going.
Yeah, I can't imagine that I would be off of social media.
I can't imagine that you would either.
No. So, but we're on social media, and we still have our link tree. We're on Instagram at Sugar Coated Murder. Our link tree takes you to all the different ways that you can either buy us a coffee, which we're still in the market for coffee.
Yeah.
And buy some yummy Plum Deluxe tea that they've come out with some really incredible flavors.
They're good.
And summertime flavors, which are really cool. And there's all different ways to listen to us and find us and follow us and be our friends and love us.
Be our friend.
So, and we love y'all.
We do.
We really do. And we will miss you while we're on vacation, but Mama needs a break.
Because Mama needs a break too.
Yeah, Mama needs just a little break.
And we encourage you, take this time and go be with your family.
And recharge.
Or people that you care about, your people.
Whoever your tribe is. Whoever the people are in your life that make you happy and relaxed, go be with them.
Go recharge, and then we'll all meet up for Thanksgiving.
No. It'll be before Thanksgiving. We've got schedules. We've got people scheduled.
We do.
We have a slaying in the kitchen scheduled with our friend.
Yeah. We just need to get ourselves organized and catch up. And anyway, it's our podcast, and that's what we're going to do.
It's our podcast, and we'll cry if we want to.
Hopefully you won't dump us.
Don't forget about us.
You'll keep us in mind.
I know they won't, because we've got loyal listeners, and we love them. So
we do.
You guys, stay safe. Stay sweet. Don't murder.
Because if you kill people,
we're going to talk about you.
Talk about you.
Yeah, we'll be ugly.
And the things we say are not nice.
No, evidently they're not. No. And we're not even ashamed of it.
Don't make me apologize to my mother.
Yeah, well, I do that anyway, so I can't blame nobody but myself.
Speaking of mothers, we love you, Mama.
Mama, we love you. Peace out, Mama. We'll see you soon. Thanks for the murder, Janie.
Yes, thank you, Janie.
And, I found my murder on my own, so thank you for my murder.
You're welcome.
Myself.
This has been Sugar Coated Murder Podcast, a deliciously entertaining true crime podcast.
Bye now.
Like what you heard? You can always explore past episodes by visiting sugarcoatedpod.com. Don't forget to like our Facebook fan page and share with friends. Thanks for listening to Sugar Coated Murder Podcast.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.